How long have you been down? A simple question used as a conversation starter and a means to establish a point of relation. If two juggalos have been down since roughly the same time, chances are they may have gone to some of the same concerts. They may have the same passionate feelings as each other when a certain album dropped. However, the question, how long have you been down, is a little bit ruined and has created an issue because of the whole old school juggalo versus new school juggalo debate. Now, if you go by the definition of CPN, if you go by CPN's definition of old school juggalo, an old school juggalo is a juggalo who was down during the unfolding of the original 6 Joker cards. So if you go by that definition, if you ask me, an old school juggalo really can be timeless. Because really, it doesn't really matter at what point you got into ICP. If you still got into the music and you saw the full revelation of the original 6 before you even knew about anything else, then wouldn't that technically give you the mindset of an old school juggalo? I mean, going by that definition. For me, I don't claim new school. I don't claim old school juggalo, and I do not accept being called a new school juggalo. I am point blank a juggalo. You don't have to place a special title on me. You don't have to add the adjective to describe what kind of juggalo I am. Bottom line is, I am a juggalo. Getting into ICP into 2002, ICP had already been in my life since 97. My sister got into them thanks to some neighbors who lived across the parking lot in the townhouse apartment complexes that we lived in Pleasant Grove, Utah. My sister got into it then, so ICP was constantly around me. And when I finally got into it, the only thing I knew was the Joker cards. I knew Ringmaster, Riddlebox, Great Malenko, Amazing Jekyll Brothers, and eventually the Wraith because of a juggalo at school. And we eventually backtracked and downloaded Carnival of Carnage. So if you want to really go by that definition of what an old school juggalo is, I would be an old school juggalo. However, I do not claim that title because I do not like that title, because there are old school juggalos out there who will place themselves onto this fucking pedestal. They have such high god complexes that they think they are better than any other juggalo out there because of how long they've been down, when really the only thing you have on them is your age. Your age allowed you to get into them when you did. Your age, which means, if you got into them in the 90s and you were a teenager or early 20s, it means you had the resources, the money to pick up albums when they came out. You had the resources to go to concerts when ICP came around. So yes, you do have that upper hand. You have that edge of having to be able to do that. Versus me, I became a juggalo in 2002. I claim that because that's when I finally latched on, started listening to it religiously. I don't even know. I don't even think I should use that word. That's when I latched on and started listening to it constantly, like crazy. Went in and fucking, when I started ninth grade, because I started listening to ICP in the summer of 2002, so it was between grades. But starting my freshman year of school, fucking ICP was all over my folders. But 2007 was when I was able to get my first job, my first full-time job, and have the money to buy t-shirts. That was when I bought Behind the Paint and learned about Twisted and everything else. That's when I really learned what a juggalo was. I'd heard it in the music, but didn't even know. So, going by that mindset, if an old school juggalo was to talk, or if an older juggalo was to talk to me and then ask me, how long have I been down? And I say 2002, they might, oh, you're not an old school juggalo. And then to talk to me even further and say, oh, well, what was your first ICP concert? The Halloween at '07. I imagine in their mind, they're going to think, oh, this guy's fucking new school. But I've been listening to the old shit. So I didn't have the resources needed until 2007. And I think that's kind of the problem that some old school juggalos have in their mindset, is that they are better because Well, while you were, listening to NSYNC and shit like that, I was repping ICP and I was repping that wicked shit. Well, the thing is, you were also 20 years older than this new school juggalo that just got down yesterday. Bottom line is, it doesn't matter how long you've been down. To me, it's all about the passion in the music. Now, there are some juggalos, and I call them old school juggalos because I have respect for them. Because I have respect for them. I'm fucking tongue twisted there for a second. I have respect for them, I admire them, and I envy them because they did get into it sooner, and they did have the resources, and they do have the memories and experiences that they do, and I think it's fucking awesome. I hate that I didn't get into it sooner, but I'd be fucking lying my ass off if I said I've been down since 97. Because it's bullshit. It's been in my life since 97, but I did not start listening to it or nothing until fucking 2002. So, bottom line, if you're an old school juggalo and you claim you're an old school juggalo, then I'm sorry to say, but I don't fucking care. You can go ahead and throw your titles up. I don't fucking care. What I want to know is, do you still love the music as much today as you did back then? That's what matters to me. Don't try and place yourself as better or anything, because some of these new school juggalos have more passion than you do. Maybe not so much when you first got into it, but they have a lot of passion. If they're real about it. If they're not coming in trying to fake the funk, you know what I mean? And you can kind of tell. It's really, sometimes it's hard to, but you can tell which ones are really faking it and which ones are really into it. That's all that matters to me, is if you can have a video of you doing this shit right here from 2003 when you were 15 years old, or of a video of you when you're 26 in 2014 and 2015, still fucking expressing that passion. She loved you yesterday. To me, time has absolutely nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter if you've been down for 30 years or if you've been down for 5 years. How much heart do you have into it? How much love and passion do you have for it? And it's gotten to the point where I hate hearing the word old school juggalo, because there's too many of them that have themselves a God complex, who think they are better than everybody else because they are older than everybody else. And I believe in respecting your elders, but I don't have time for bullshit like that. And I will not respect and give you props just because you've been down since fucking Ringmaster. I actually have an experience meeting an old school juggalo, so-called, back in 2007, when I was really exploring the juggalo world beyond ICP, beyond the 6 Joker cards. I encountered a juggalo who claimed he was down since Ringmaster, lived in Marion, Indiana. So there's a slight possibility that could be true, but I really fucking just shrugged it off because I knew and I felt like he was full of shit. He was trying to impress me. He was trying to whip his dick out and be like, I'm bigger than you. I'm better than you, motherfucker, because I've been down since Ringmaster. And he pointed to his tattoo. He had a Ringmaster tattoo. That's how he said it. I've been down since Ringmaster. So I have that experience. That was where it started. And then even my first encounters with juggalos online, everybody wanted to flex and say I've been down this long. And it doesn't fucking matter. I mean, any new juggalos out there, I will tell you, don't fucking listen to any so-called old school juggalos. You don't have to fucking impress anybody. And I know you're going to look up to them because I did the same thing. And that's what happened to me. I had motherfuckers just shitting on me, thinking they were better. So don't let it fucking discourage you. Get into the music for you, and just fucking rock it, man. Put your heart into it, because that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you've been down for 20 years or if you've been down for fucking 2 hours. The bottom line is, you're down, you love it, you got passion, you got heart, you got love for it. But I'm going to leave off on a very positive note and give a shout out to the old school juggalos that I know and love and look up to. That is Beastmaster, Scary Gary, aka Jekyll Juggalo, Scotty Two Balls, Big Irish Juggalo, I really don't want to forget any names. I wanted to make sure this part was the center of it. I want to leave off on this note. Cali Green Too Fresh. Psychopathic Reviews, man. He's been down since he was like 13, right? If I remember correctly from some of his videos. You know, any old school, any juggalo who's been down for a long time that still has the same passion today that they did then, I'll give a shout out to you. Much props to you. And keep doing it, man. And fuck the God complex that is old school juggalo. This has been DC Fago Guy.